Listen, throughout my gacha career, I've played a lot of gacha games. The problem about Zenless Zone Zero's bosses is artificial difficulty. Now, this isn't a problem just within ZZZ. Damn near all of these action RPG gacha games have the same problem, but this model is being pushed out so much that it honestly has just become a norm. And it's sad to see because the potential some of these games have, if they were to just put a bit more love into their boss fights, it would make the combat that much more special and memorable. Now, this video is simply highlighting a flaw that the game has in my opinion. I still love the game, ain't nothing going to change about that, but as a ZZZ enjoyer, who would I be to not provide constructive criticism to help make the game better? Like always folks, this is a discussion based channel. If you think I had a bad take or agree with my take, let me know why in the comment section down below. If you're new here and enjoy this kind of content, please consider subbing. It only takes about like 2 seconds. With that out of the way, let's jump on into this. The big problem that ZZZ has with their bosses is artificial difficulty. Now, what exactly is artificial difficulty? It's when the game's mechanics cannot create that skillful challenge and instead deviate from the rules of the world you play by. HP and damage scaling your damn bosses doesn't necessarily make the combat harder. That's something implemented because the system cannot offer you more to compete against you. HP scaling makes the boss spongier, sure, which then makes the fight longer, decreasing the arrow window a player can have, but this doesn't necessarily make the boss harder. A lot of these endgame bosses we fight against have the same moveset as their earlier low level self. Ramping up the HP and damage that they have is just a lazy way of putting it together. For those of you that played Elden Ring, were those tree sentinels hard? Hell no! They all had the same attack pattern, they were quite easy, but later in the game those same tree sentinels had a crap ton of HP, so the time it took to kill them was way longer, which then increased my chances of getting hit by the damn near one-shot mechanic. But the boss itself was not hard. And the same thing with adding timers for when the fight has to be completed. When you do that, it literally just turns into a DPS check. That is also another form of artificial difficulty. You try a couple of times with a different rotation, and if you still can't beat it, you leave, go level up, and then come back at a later time. Also with Endless Tower, when they take away your parry window disclaimer. Like bro, that shit's been in the game the whole time. That is peak artificial difficulty. You're just gonna snatch my shit and tell me good luck? Hell no, bro. Now, I won't sit here and bash ZZZ boss fights like they're complete utterly trash. They're not. There has been good boss fights where I genuinely felt a small percentage of Final Fantasy XIV boss mechanics, and I enjoy that. But this doesn't outweigh the complete lack of care some of these boss fights have. It just feels like a copy and paste pasta from an older version and scaled differently. Now I know some of y'all may be wondering, why is bro trying to nitpick with a free-to-play gacha game? I mean, all these gacha games out here trying to be the top dog, they want to be #1. And to do that, honestly, it doesn't even matter about the boss fight. It matters about the new shiny looking character coming out next, which kind of sucks because the game is labeled as an action RPG. You'd think they put more care to that side of the game. The one game at the top of my head that actually does really well with this is Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves is very similar to ZZZ when it comes to fighting the same bosses throughout the story, but the difference between the both is when you are fighting these higher level bosses, they start to expand on their kit, they implement harder boss mechanics, they make the boss faster. These things naturally make the boss harder, making a more enjoyable and rewarding boss fight. Now I know I compared ZZZ a tad bit to Elden Ring. No, I'm not wanting ZZZ's AI to be on the level as Elden Ring, but there are some things that could make the bosses harder naturally, and while doing so, you make the bosses more enjoyable and memorable. Making the AI smarter and reactive to what the player does, or implement a whole new aggressive kit that the players have to learn, as opposed to just giving us the same old kit we've been fighting against since we started the game. Or instead of making the boss soak up more damage by skyrocketing their HP, have the boss use some kind of cover or shield to have them soak up the damage and make the player have to work around it. These are little things that can naturally make your end game harder without artificially creating that difficulty. Now, I know I'm not preaching to the choir here. I'm sure I'm the minority, and that's totally fine. But when these gacha companies talk about wanting to differentiate themselves from other games, this is one way to do it. But I know this has been a technique that these gacha companies use for a long time now, but I'm questioning why not a lot of people actually bring this up. Are they just completely fine with this artificial difficulty? But you know, I also understand that there's no need to switch it up in the future. If everything's still going smoothly, they still lining their pockets, and business is still booming, well, you know, it is what it is then, brother. Now, I just want to reiterate, I have no problem if ZZZ doesn't change their bosses at all. I can still enjoy them for how they are. I'm not sitting here foaming from the mouth anytime the game ties my hands behind my back and tells me to go fight a crazy hard boss. I just enjoy the game so much that I can't help myself from wanting to throw ideas out there to help make the game better than what it is already. I just think if you want to take the game a step further, if you want to differentiate yourself from the competition, this is how you can do it. As always, folks, let me know what you thought about my take down below. Do you agree with my take? Do you disagree? Do you have a problem with artificial difficulty, or are you completely fine with the way it is right now? For those of you that made it to the end of the video, make sure you like, comment, and sub. It's always appreciated. And if you enjoyed this video, I'm more than confident you'll enjoy these videos on screen. The one on the left talks about how now is the best time to join ZZZ due to patch 1.4 rolling out with some juicy content. And on the right, we talk about how people were wrong about Zenless Zone Zero's combat. Thank you all for watching. Take care, stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll catch you on in the next one. Peace.